I was already hungry when we started filming, so. Hi there, and welcome to Memories from Scratch, a series where I, a novice home person who cooks, tries to quantify my family's recipes to honor their legacy and preserve their memories for future generations to come. This first season will focus on recipes from my mom so that her grandchild will always remember her, even though she's not here anymore. I wanted to start this season and series with my first favorite dish that my mom made me, which is lentejas, Colombian style. So for those of you who don't know, lentejas are a lentil soup that has many variations throughout Latin America. However, for me, my mom's version will always be the tastiest. So before I get too into this video, I just want to reiterate, like I said in the intro video, I know my knife skills are not good. I know my cooking technique is not great. I know. So before you get in the comments and tell me how bad I am, I know. Okay, I already know. One day I hope to learn, and hopefully these are skills that my niece will be better at than I am, but right now, we're just trying to get the measurements. One day, I'll improve in the other skills. So, let's get into the recipe. I try to prep and dice the ingredients ahead of time because I feel that it helps me to not burn the food as much. If you are someone who is amazing at dicing and prepping everything while things are cooking, go for it by all means. But for me, I take ages to cut vegetables, and I still do a bad job, but that's okay. It is what it is. But if you're my niece and you're now an adult watching this, trust me, prep everything ahead of time. Once you're a pro and you know how to dice at super speed, you might not need to do that as much, but take the extra couple minutes and prep ahead of time, dice ahead of time. It's very helpful. So after prepping all of the vegetables, I added the onions and garlic to the pot on medium heat and cooked them until they were translucent. I then added the tomatoes and sprinkled them with a bit of salt. The salt helps draw out the moisture from the tomatoes so that they can get that soupy, liquidy texture. I don't know how true that is, but it sounded very scientific when I heard it on TikTok, so I've just kind of been going with that, to be honest. While the onions and garlic were cooking, I realized I had forgotten to prep the carrots. So everything that I had said about making sure to prep everything is still true, but just remember to prep everything and not just some things, because that will make things a little bit more difficult. So while everything was already cooking, I tried to quickly dice the carrot, well, as quickly as I could. And I will say, to my niece, whenever you do watch this, or to anyone who is watching this, that is not my niece, try to cut things in even sizes if you can, because they will cook at different speeds if they are not the same size. Speaking from experience, but you know, if you think about it, as I like to think about it, you're really creating an experience by having the carrots at different sizes. You know, it's a textural experience. You know, some carrots are a bit softer, some have a bit more texture, a bit more crunchy. You know, it's not that you made a mistake. You made a creative choice. That's how I like to think about it. So, if you want a boring bowl of lentejas, by all means, do it the correct way. But if you want to have a bit of fun, you know, maybe it's okay to mess up a bit. It's a home-cooked meal. It adds character, so just try your best to dice things in the same size. But if they're not the same size, it's not the end of the world. You're cooking at home. It's not a Michelin restaurant. It's gonna taste great. So never be too hard on yourself when cooking, okay? Enjoy the experience, and you'll enjoy the food just as much. These days, I'm trying to measure as much as I can while cooking, Something I'm not really used to. I was taught to measure with my eyes or my nose, or the saying, you'll just know. That's what my mom would always say. You'll just know. Or she would say, add enough. And I would say, what does that mean? But, once I started cooking for myself, I did understand what she meant. After a while, you start to feel the ingredients and the food. It becomes second nature to you. Measurements definitely help. And, in baking, please follow the measurements. But when it comes to cooking, there is a semblance of feeling as well. And although, I'm trying to quantify these recipes as much as I can to preserve these memories, I also believe that, you should make all of these things your own. If you don't like how much reguisar I put in it, put less, put more, make your own spice mix. Or if you don't like bacon, take it out. It can be a vegan meal. There's measurements help to quantify these recipes and to set them in stone so that they won't be forgotten. But I don't want these recipes to be followed so much that nobody can make them their own. So, sometimes it's hard to know what you'll just know means or add enough means. But once you understand these measurements, once you make it once or twice, take risks, change it up, make it your own thing. That's what I want most from this series, is to create something so my niece knows what the original tasted like, but that one day she can make it her own. And for you watching, if you want to try this recipe, you can make it your own as well. So once the base is slightly cooked, you can start adding in the lentils, the water, extra salt and seasoning if you like. But I do recommend soaking the lentils ahead of time for at least 4 hours before cooking. This will help them cook much faster. I did not soak them. I just forgot. To be honest, I forgot to soak the lentils, and it took so long for them to cook. And I was really hungry while filming this. I was so hungry, in fact, that while all of the lentejas were cooking, I was also baking brownies, so that there was at least something in addition that I could eat as soon as this all wrapped up. So don't be like me. Make sure to soak the lentils, or if you forgot to soak them, cook them before you get hungry, so you're not starving waiting for them to be cooked and then eating them when they're still really, really hot and burning your mouth. Not saying that that's what happened to me, but I'm also not saying that either. So while the lentejas are cooking, again, mine took much longer to cook than maybe soaked lentils would cook, but while the lentejas are cooking, it's a really good time to start preparing the rice. So remember, wash your rice. I don't want to get into a fight about this. Unless you're making a risotto, you should be washing your rice, okay? And it should be washed until it's clear. So when I cook rice on the stove, I like to use the knuckle method, which is essentially where you put your hand into the pot flat and the water should reach to your knuckles. Now I have tiny hands, so that's pretty easy for me to do. But if you have bigger hands, you can also put your finger in to the rice. If you put your finger into the water above the rice, it should reach that first line. If you put your finger all the way through to the bottom of the pan, then the rice will be to the first line and the water will be to the second line. And unless you have really, really big hands, that should be a pretty solid measurement. But again, if you want something more exact, about 1.5 cups of water to 1 cup of dried rice is also good. So, fun fact, no one in my family actually likes lentejas except for me. Not even my mom really liked them. I was the only one who enjoyed them and still enjoys them to this day. And it's a pretty funny story how that ended up happening. So while we lived in London, my mom worked at a daycare and most of the staff there was Colombian. And because I was a very tiny baby, I was probably 2 or 3 years old, I would go to the daycare with her and just be, one of the kids in the daycare while she did her work there. And the kitchen staff at this daycare would make lentejas because it's cheap. You can make it in a huge quantity and you don't really have to worry about kids choking on it. So it was kind of the perfect meal for babies. And I fell in love. I fell in love with lentejas. And, my mom saw how happy I was eating them that she decided to learn how to make them. And she just continued to make them for me as I got older. After a while, I think she started to like them too, or at least I hope so, because I think I would feel a bit bad if she only made them for me and didn't like them at all herself. But the rest of my family still don't like lentejas. Hopefully, I can trick my niece into liking them so that at least the two of us can enjoy them together. So, back to cooking. While the lentejas and the rice are cooking, we can start on the bacon. Most people cook the bacon in the pot and use the bacon grease to cook the other ingredients. However, my mom and I preferred the crispy texture of bacon as opposed to like a softer boiled bacon texture. So we started to air fry the bacon rather than cooking it in the pot. And then we would cut the air fried bacon and add it in at the end. That way it can keep its crispy texture even when it's added into the soup at the end. And for me, I'm a big texture person, so if I'm having something that's a bit soft or mushy, I need a crispy aspect. Like I need something crunchy so that I don't get nauseous. I don't know why, I can't really explain it, but really soft foods, my stomach just does not appreciate them. So, the crispy air-fried bacon at the end is something I appreciate, but, more than welcome to put the bacon in from the beginning. If one day my niece does watch this video, I do want to say to her, don't be lazy like me when it comes to cooking. It actually makes things more difficult in the long run. So once the bacon has been added back into the lentejas and it's cooked together for about 3 to 4 minutes, give it a try. The lentejas should be soft but not mushy, and it should have the right amount of seasoning. If you feel it needs a bit more salt or any seasoning, this is the perfect time to add it in. Mix it up, give another extra minute so the salt or whatever seasoning you added has time to kind of marinate in the rest of the soup. And then serve it. Serve it with rice and any other toppings you like. You can put avocado, you can put plátano maduro, you can use extra meat, or if you want to make it vegan, you can skip the bacon entirely. It's all up to you, so this is the perfect time to just finally sit down and enjoy your lentejas. I will say, after cooking these lentejas for the first time without a recipe, I felt that the taste of the lentejas was pretty close to how my mom would make it, but it did feel like it was missing something. I'm definitely not there yet. I think it needed a bit more salt and maybe cilantro at the end. Honestly, I forgot about the cilantro until it was time to cook, and I wasn't gonna go buy it. I was already hungry when we started filming, so next time, those are 2 things that I will add in. But I really do hope to retry this recipe again in the future and see if I can get a little bit closer to how she made it. Thank you all so much for watching today, And don't forget to tell someone how much you love them today. Have a good one.